Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.
Sometimes during Christmas, something magical happens.
Hey, Cricket customers. The Max with Ads plan is included with the Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. And this holiday season, Max is the one to watch when you're feeling festive.
Son of a nutcracker!
Cozy up to all the holiday classics, like Elf, 8-Bit Christmas, and the Harry Potter 8 film collection. Just log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices. Phone plan streams and standard definition programming subject to change. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Sometimes during Christmas, something magical happens.
Hey, Cricket customers. The Max with Ads plan is included with the Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. And this holiday season, Max is the one to watch when you're feeling festive.
Son of a nutcracker!
Cozy up to all the holiday classics, like Elf, 8-Bit Christmas, and the Harry Potter 8 film collection. Just log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices. Phone plan streams and standard definition programming subject to change. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Did you know that Game Pass or Pass is brought to you for free because of Spotify for podcasters? It's a totally free platform, and you can make a podcast today for free. Spotify for podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are heard. And if you're thinking about taking your podcast to the next level with a video podcast, Spotify can help you too. With Spotify for podcasters, you can also earn money in a variety of ways that includes ads and podcast subscriptions. So what are you waiting for? Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcast to get started right now. Now time for a very end of the year edition of Game Pass or Pass, the podcast where we normally play games on Microsoft's Game Pass service, tell you which games to pass on to your friends and which games to simply pass on by. But this week we're going to be talking a little bit of industry, talking a little bit of how we felt about Game Pass and Microsoft and all those fun things for the year of 2022 before we dive into the year 2023. I'm Corey. I'm joined by the day one Game Pass get Basher.
Ah, buddy. Apologies. Buddy's joining us for this episode again. I need you to relax, buddy.
He's a fan. He's a super fan.
Buddy likes to be on the microphone. Like
he's managed to like it's that fan that like isn't weird, so you actually kind of be friends with them. And then they...
Oh, no, Buddy's weird. He's straight weirdo. Like, you can't trust this kitty for nothing. Right, Buddy? All right, get out of my face.
What does Buddy think about Game Pass?
Buddy, what do you think about Game Pass?
Riveting.
She's just eating coconut oil.
Ew. Oh, gross. Game Pass, Microsoft service, 2022. How are we feeling about it? How are we feeling about the industry in 2022? As we got PlayStation 5, we got Xbox Series X and S, we still got the old Switch. Like, we played some games this year. I think this is the year we had the most passes, in a good way, pass-it-ons that we've ever had, but which is kind of surprising considering Microsoft really only had 2 releases this year.
Therefore, it's not surprising. I mean, we didn't play a bunch of Microsoft games.
You're right. And Pentiment, which is quite good. We didn't talk about Pentiment simply because you weren't into it, and I played a lot of it, but I didn't get to the end, and that's a game you really kind of got to get to the end, and it's just not going to happen. But that game is quite good. It's very good, and it also goes in a way that you do not expect. Very deep game, but it's it's not perfect kind of thing, but it is very good. But not exactly a system seller by any means. And on the Sony side, we had God of War Ragnarok, we had Horizon Forbidden West, Last of Us Part 1. So like they've got their major hits over there. And you got Nintendo with Bayonetta, Splatoon, and just, their first parties are rocking, and Microsoft over here isn't rocking the first party, but yet we still played a lot of Game Pass. So how we feeling?
I'm feeling like Game Pass is still the most legit service in the market. I mean, there's just too much to play for a reasonable amount of money every month.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like in a weird way, even though, so this is where it gets hard to talk about, because Microsoft from a first party standpoint, like if we want to just kind of talk about, because okay, we got the Microsoft Activision deal, but Microsoft had the Bethesda deal, they bought all these studios, but we still haven't really seen the fruit of that, of that acquisition. And Starfield got pushed out of this year. Redfall got pushed out of this year. So those were kind of the two big titles. And with those being pushed, like they got pushed to next year. But then you look at next year and it's like, so we've got Forza announced. Now we have Starfield and Redfall, but that's kind of it. We still have yet to see what is going on with all of the, with these major purchases. But at the same time, like I'm not really feeling that pain. But if you want to, do the console war thing of like, let's compare first parties only, like Microsoft looks embarrassing almost. But it's kind of like
they always have. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's something to be said about that, because Game Pass is their service to just beat all services, and it is honestly quite embarrassing, I think, that they still haven't had a bunch of hits of their own. This is another case of, I mean, the history of Microsoft is just that. We buy out the other companies and boost our own company. And that's exactly what they did. And that's exactly what they're doing again. And it's not surprising. However, I really wish they would put out more quality titles of their own onto the service, because at this point, the Xbox is just a vehicle into having Game Pass. There's no point in if any other system you have has Game Pass or can stream Game Pass games, you don't even need the next. You don't need the box.
Is that okay though? Like that's kind of where like things get really tricky, and it's just like it's hard to talk about this without sounding like, well, let's do list wars. Like let's look at where's their God of War, and it's just like. And I've said this for a couple of years now, and I think it rings true more than at all. It's like Game Pass is kind of separate from Xbox in a lot of ways. Like they're almost treating it like its own platform. So it's almost like a third party service, because if you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, you're kind of not like, you're not part of the club, like it's just like you're missing out on a lot of things. Like you still have access to everything that, I can still buy The Ascent. I can still buy Edge of Eternity. I can buy Sea of Thieves. But with Game Pass, like it's like you said, you don't even need an Xbox anymore. Like you can have a PC, but now you've got the streaming with the Samsung TVs, and that's only going to expand. Like you're going to see that more and more. And is that the ideal way to play? No, it's not. Are a lot of people going to play that way? Probably not.
I mean,
but the fact is,
I think a lot of people will play that way, as long as it's not a, Gears of War. Like you can play Vampire Survivors that way. You can play Pentiment that way. You can play a lot of games that way and not have any issues, or very
fair.
little.
I guess it's more of like, are we sold on that yet? Are we sold on the cloud thing? And I just, no, I don't think so. Like, I think it's becoming more and more relevant. Like I've done a little bit of the cloud stuff this year, just at work. Like, yeah, like I played a lot of, oh crap, what's the name of that game?
I don't know. You played it, not me.
I can't think of the name. Dusk Falls. I played that on streaming because I was just like, I got half an hour. I'll boot that up and play it. And like, it was totally playable and it's totally fine.
Yeah, I did it in Maine the other night. All I had was my work laptop and streamed something through Game Pass, and it was absolutely fine. I think it's completely viable.
but it's are we to the point yet where if you don't even have an Xbox, if you don't even have if all you have is a Samsung TV, are you going to join Game Pass yet?
If you, I think you would. I don't see why you would not, especially if you just don't want to buy an Xbox and you play less, for better word, lack of a better way to say it, gameplay heavy games or graphically heavy games. If you play mostly indie titles or something or AA titles, stream away. I don't see an issue with it. I haven't ran into an issue with it anyway.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I kind of want to like, as an experiment, I just want to stream Doom Eternal just to see like what is that like?
That would be the one.
Like to play like Doom Eternal on like I gotta know.
That or Ori, like
yeah, that'd be another good one. Yeah, Ori, but it's one of those. I don't want to say one of those things, but it's one of those aspects of Ori's probably a better example of if you just don't have an Xbox or maybe you're not even super into gaming and you stumble your way onto Game Pass through Samsung, through a trial, something like that. Like, is Microsoft going to get there to where that they can push Xbox Game Pass without the console? I don't think we're there yet.
I don't think they want to push without the console anyway, but they could.
I see. I think that's their end goal. Like, I think their end goal is, and that's why I said like Game Pass to me is its own thing. Like, yes, it's by Microsoft, and yes, it's almost a brand within a brand kind of thing. And you can technically do it with Sony as well through PlayStation Plus. Like, they've got their own streaming, but again, they just don't push it the same way. It's not marketed the same way. But I mean, to get off that topic more, it was just like I just now noticed the box art for Killer Instinct, and it's atrocious. What was I saying? So when you look at Microsoft's first party output this year, it's embarrassing, right? But at the same time, the fact that, High on Life just came out and it's extremely popular. That's not an exclusive game. That is on PC as well. But it almost feels like it, right? It's the same way like how Final Fantasy 16 will be coming to PC later for it's like 6 months after, but that feels like a Sony game. Like it's the difference is Sony's got those first party titles, but Microsoft is really positioning Game Pass as its own platform and as its own thing to where like, yeah, like we don't have God of War yet, supposedly. They might be coming kind of thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but is that enough? Are the day one Game Pass gets enough to sort of satiate and satisfy the Xbox player? And I kind of feel like it is.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I've been saying it for years. The Xbox gamers, they're not. They're the least complex gamer out there. It doesn't take a lot to impress an Xbox gamer. You give them a racing game, you give them a shooter, and they're happy for the rest of their lives. It's not hard. And Game Pass is really more for the Xbox gamer who actually likes other games. So in that case, it really works for me, because if it wasn't for Game Pass, okay, so let's take the services out the way for a moment. Just look at the two consoles. They both suck. This is the worst generation we've ever been in by far. And the fact that people are buying these consoles in droves is embarrassing, actually. But let's take away the services for a moment. As bad as both these consoles are, without PlayStation Plus, without Game Pass, the Xbox machine would be one of the worst machines of all time. Like all time.
You could argue it'd be even worse than the Xbox One.
No, easily worse. I'm talking Jaguar. Like, it's bad. It will be really
Jaguar
bad.
had Doom.
Like, so for them to put all their money into Game Pass, it not only is it working, I think. I'm not looking at the numbers, but Microsoft says it's working.
I think they hit 29 million is the number that's come out from the litigation that's going on with the Activision Blizzard. Oh my God, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. which is lower than they anticipated, but at the same time, they did push their 2 major games for the year. So considering it went up in a year where it didn't have any first party games, we could argue that's a fail. But I
don't think first party games even matter. Again, I think the
Right.
people who play first party Xbox games, the Xbox gamer buys those games and that's it. Like they buy the Gears of War, they buy their Forza, and then they're done for the year. Like they don't, and then of course the Call of Duty and the Madden. Like they that's all, and they're good. I don't think a first party title boosts their numbers unless their first party titles are, if you're comparing the Horizons or the God of Wars, like those just critically acclaimed games that make all the press.
Right. And that's to sort of pivot into what we're looking at for next year. Like 2023, like there's the joke, right, of like Microsoft's games will come next year. And when this year started at the end of last year, I sort of predicted horribly, it seems, that like this is going to be the year, right? This is going to be the year we're finally going to see what's going to happen, because most of these acquisitions happened in 2018, 2019. Like we should start seeing what happens with those acquisitions. And we still haven't. Like, and it was funny because like before E3 hit, like you and I were kind of talking, and I was like, you know what they need to do? Like this needs to be the year where they just do the thing of just like, look, we got some stuff coming, but this is what you've been waiting for. We've got like 29 teams. Here's the games that they're working on. This is all possible due to the Xbox Studios revival project, or whatever you want to call it. And then instead they're like, no, this is what's coming to the platform for the next 12 months on Game Pass. And it was just like, oof, like I called that one wrong kind of thing. So like, is this the year? Like, are they finally going to show it?
No,
like,
it's not. It's not.
So that means so if we're saying no, that means it's going to happen. So I kind of feel the same way. Like, I feel like I'm kind of burned so hard now. It's just like,
I never,
what's going on?
I
like,
never believe you're going to see. I truly never believe you're going to see what you're describing. The acquisition of these studios are mostly to help other studios. They're not pushing. I mean, they can barely get Rare to make a good game again. Like there's really no point in believing that they're pushing these smaller studios to produce these cool little experiences. I'm sorry, I really expect Sony to start doing that again before Microsoft with their second studios. Like it's second party studios rather. It's as much as I like Game Pass, as much as this easily probably the best service of all time when you're looking at video games, the video game industry, it's still extremely disappointing that Microsoft did it, because it's just, you don't get the cool Microsoft stuff that you want, especially when they bought all these little studios. If you were to flip the script a bit and let's say Sony or PlayStation Plus had this sort of capital and this sort of market share, there's no way those secondary and in those close third party studios aren't putting out bangers like the Super Stardust team. Like they would be putting out bangers left and right. Like you don't see it in Microsoft. You won't. However, if you're a subscriber, I guess it doesn't really matter.
See, I guess
that's just me being a pessimist.
Right. But the question is why isn't it happening? And that's such a dumb, big question, because it's just like everyone's just going to say, well, Microsoft sucks. And it's just like, sure, whatever. Like if you want to be, like you said, kind of whatever. Like, but what's happening? Why haven't we seen these games from these studios? And is it because of stuff like COVID, or is it because something is legitimately wrong with Microsoft's style? Like look at something like Halo Infinite. Like Halo Infinite was supposed to launch in 2020. It didn't. They pushed it at the last minute, and it did come out for a year, and it still wasn't done. Like we just now finally got to the point to where the game feels done. So, 2 years after that game was supposed to ship, granted, it did come with some major changes. Like they've done major shakeups at that studio now. Like, so maybe that was just bad luck, but it's like Microsoft, man, like they seem to keep betting on these things and they just don't happen. Like they bet a lot on Platinum with Scalebound. It just didn't come together. They bet a lot on Insomniac with Sunset Overdrive, fantastic game, but people just didn't play it. Like they bet a lot on.
Well, people didn't play it because, in my opinion, because it was an Xbox exclusive. You put that on a PlayStation, that's gangbusters.
See, and that's yes and no. Like, but I feel like it can't be that basic. Like, like it can't just be like, well, it was on Xbox, and it's just like, no, like something went wrong with that game in terms of selling. Maybe it was the time frame. Something, If I do remember, that game came out like in the holiday period, and it's like that's not when you launch that game. You don't launch that game in October when everything else is coming out. Like you just don't do that. That's bad. That's a bad idea.
I think you touched on it. The style. I don't think Microsoft is probably the second biggest company in the world, tech company in the world. You don't get that way by being creative and taking risks. Like it's like they're a money making machine. When they entered the gaming industry, I think we found out pretty quickly they're not about creativity. Even when they try to, they just missed the mark. And I think it's because of that style, or better yet, lack of. There was a time where Microsoft had a little bit of style, and they had the Xbox Live summer thing.
Summer games.
Yeah, like they had a bit of a style coming out of that at some point, but like it was quickly dampened out. Like it didn't last long at all. Microsoft simply does not have a style because they just don't have that creative arm, or even more so that arm that says, all right, studio, we trust you. Here's a bunch of money. We're going to put out whatever you do. We're just going to put it out. Sony does that often, and sometimes you get burned. Sometimes you get an Order 1877 or whatever that game was. Sometimes you get a Haze. But sometimes you get a Demon Souls. And it's like, what a hit. Like no one expected that. And it's because they just kind of like, here's some money, see what happens. Microsoft desperately needs someone who, at this point, you guys have tremendous market share. They have a tremendous amount of capital. You can, at this point, take more risk, release more things, have more care. I don't think they have. I just don't think they have that. I don't think they had that for a long time, and that's why you don't see these smaller studios put out these cooler little things.
I'm gonna push back a little bit and say, like, I think Xbox in general's biggest problem has been it runs like a Microsoft product, like you said, but they've had those people. Like the original Xbox was started by a group of people that were super passionate about games, but the thing is like they were passionate developers, and so they developed the hardware in a way that developers would like. Like the Xbox, people don't like to give it credit. The original Xbox was extremely revolutionary in just how games are made, and that's a topic that people don't like. I understand why people don't want to give it credit for that, because they don't understand it. Like just being honest, like they don't understand what it means to program like a PC. Like that was revolutionary at that time. But then the 360 was obviously their height. Like they had the right people in the right places running that branch. And those first 4 years of Xbox were of 360 were like, they were bangers. Like they single-handedly like took a large market share from Sony those first 4 years of that box. Granted, they had Sony's help in that.
I'm about to say, like, yeah,
mouth,
like
that
was like, that was a huge help.
Yeah. So like but they had the games, you know,
Right.
like the original Mass Effect, BioShock, like those were Xbox games. And so, but then, you know, what happened is it started getting popular and Microsoft started doing what they do. It's like, instead of letting the product grow organically, they started messing with it. They started figuring
yes.
out like how can we expand this? Like they look at what the market said, and the Xbox One was the Xbox One simply because it was market tested and focus tested to death. And it was, yo, people are watching Netflix on their Xbox. So what if we gave them a way to turn Xbox into an entertainment brand? And it's like, you're missing the point, which is hilarious now because that's exactly what Sony's doing, and nobody seems to care over on PlayStation's, you know, fanboy argument center.
Well,
of
it's because they're still doing both. I think, to your point,
Microsoft was though too, like, but it just they wouldn't shut up about it. Like they
exactly.
instead of letting the games talk. But at the end of the day, you have to be smarter than the marketing. Like you have to look at the products that they're putting out. And I'm not defending them. What I'm saying is that like Microsoft did what Microsoft does, and they looked at the market and said, instead of doing what we did to make this popular, which was our own thing and carving out a segment, we're going to start copying. And that's what the Xbox One was. It was this weird focus tested product that just didn't make any sense in the market. And so now we've got the Series X and the S, and like in a weird way, they're bringing some of that 360 energy. But the problem is that energy is like with Game Pass and the Series S. Like the Series S is an extremely weird thing, right? Like it's a $300 console that doesn't push hardware, but it's extremely popular, but nobody's talking about it. But that thing sells gangbusters. Like I know like 3 people with a Series S now. That's happening and nobody's talking about it. And it's just like they're in such a weird position now that it's hard to understand what's going on. And then you have these acquisitions, and it's just like, what is happening over with Microsoft and Xbox? Because it feels like there's a lot of little things that are working, but the big picture stuff just isn't working.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I really want Microsoft Game Pass to have more of those titles that we're talking about, where you have and I won't remember any of their names, but like who's the big guy that did the big designer that did BioShock?
Ken Levine.
Yeah, I was about to say Adam. I'm like, that's not right.
Maybe are they related? They can't be, but that'd be funny if they were.
But like to compare like how to compare it to Sony, for example, if Kojima wants to make a game, no matter how stupid it is, not that he makes stupid games, he's a genius. He makes only the greatest games of all time. But let's say he makes something really stupid like a walking simulator. Sony's gonna market that to hell, and not only that, they're probably gonna give them some money to do it too. They're always going to give these creators, especially when the big ones, the money to do the thing, and then they're going to back it 100%, and it's going to burn them sometimes. Like I said, like you might get a No Man's Sky, but you also are going to get stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it's the only reason Sony is still in this game is one, laurels. They're resting on laurels heavily. And two, eventually they cash that check. They promise you and they promise you and they promise you you're going to get this huge blockbuster single player experience that's worth the investment. And you sit there year after year after year thinking like, oh, what is it going to be? When is it going to come out? And then when it finally comes out, it cashes the freaking check. I would love to see more games like that come out of Microsoft, first party or second party. But honestly, the reason I have Game Pass is to play other games.
Right. And that's where I'm at with it too, is I really don't care what's coming to Game Pass, or that's not true. I don't care who's making what comes to Game Pass.
Exactly.
Like, and it's weird because in a weird way, whoever is, you know, if it's Matt Booty, I don't remember whoever's running Game Pass and has an eye for these things is doing a phenomenal job. Like they are doing the Sony thing on a smaller scale. If they're going to these studios and they're identifying like, you've got some potential. Let's see how it goes. But they're using Game Pass as this vessel to sort of to do the exact same thing of if this works out, we'll talk, kind of thing. Like let's see how you do. And I don't think there's any chance that Microsoft and Asobo Studios, who did Plague Tale Requiem, and Flight Sim, are not talking. Like there's no way that they're not like, how do you feel about an acquisition and all that?
I mean,
so it's
to that point, like Sony would look at them and be like, acquisition what? Like, here's some money, make us a game, call it an exclusive, like whatever you want to make, just go make it.
Right.
Like, whereas Microsoft is like, so guys, let's talk. It's like, no, let's like stop the talking. Like, stop being Microsoft for 2 seconds. Just give them the blank check and say, make us a game, Plague Tale people, and they will probably give you something extremely unique.
I guess so. That's where again it gets muddied into just like Microsoft has started this bidding war in a terrible way. Like, I am not for consolidation. Like the Bethesda buyout was an extremely weird thing to me, because it was like, it's awesome to see Microsoft investing in gaming, but they're doing it in a way that is extremely damaging. And now we've got this acquisition war of, Sony owns Bungie now. Like, what is happening in this world? But anyways, my point is I want them to do exactly what you said of make these big games. But the question still comes back to, why isn't it happening? They have the talent. What is going on at Microsoft to where Starfield is slipping? What happened to Perfect Dark? Why is Perfect Dark using Crystal Dynamics? What happened to Hellblade 2? Like, what is going on? What happened to Fable? But then you also have stuff which is extremely like Grounded. Grounded is like a side project for Obsidian that is taking off. And so it's weird. Like you said, with Sony will go to a studio and give them time. Sony doesn't go to Naughty Dog and says, yo, Last of Us 3 has to ship by 2024.
Exactly.
They go to Naughty Dog and say, when's it coming? What do you need? Like
that's it. Like,
and so, but it seems like Microsoft is doing that to an extent, but it's not coming to fruition the same way. So like they gave Halo Infinite an entire extra year on top of 5 years already. Like, that game was in development for like 6 years and it didn't come out the way it should have. Like, Fable's been in development since like 2019. Starfield's been in development since 2018. And no, I'm sorry, 2016. Like, what is going on to where they just can't get these games out? And to their credit, they're not pushing them out. Like, Starfield probably could have came out this year. It totally could have, but they're giving them time. So like, it's weird because they're going to these studios, especially their own, like 343, and they're giving them plenty of time, but it's just not working for them. And that's where it's hard to look at 2023 and just be like, as a Game Pass player and as someone who enjoys gaming, I want them to hit home runs so we have good games, but it's hard. Like, it's weird. It's weird that we're this far into the Xbox Series X and S and we still just don't have that major game. Like, Sony is not exactly hitting home runs over there either. Like, they're doing significantly better, don't get me wrong, but like, I know a lot of people that God of War Ragnarok is just okay. Like, I know a lot of people that Horizon is it's a disappointment to a lot of people. However, the word of mouth is not strong, but those initial, trailer, like, they still get their day one. The games work for the most part, and they look like those, they look like they should. They look like the AAA blockbusters that you have. And Microsoft is out here swinging with Sea of Thieves and Grounded, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm rambling at this point. But it's weird.
They've lost their identity at one point, and then that point to me was, I believe it was one of those E3s back years ago where they closed out. I think they showcased Halo and Call of Duty at the same E3, but they closed out with Call of Duty.
Yep, I remember that one.
To me, I'm like,
it was Black Ops 2, I think.
That was nail in the coffin for me. I'm like, you closed out the show with Call of Duty. Like, I understand it's big, but Halo's your baby. Like, that's your actual baby. Like Call of Duty is a hitman for hire. It will go anywhere they get the most play. And you have the audacity to close out this show with Black Ops. Okay, like to me that was the official downfall or downswing in terms of creativity.
Right. It was business first kind of thing.
Yeah, and it still is for them, and
It's just it's hard
in a way where we now have Game Pass again, the greatest service thus far in gaming. Like it was birthed out of a business-minded mindset, and I'm just hoping that this year coming up that we can marry some creative aspects to this.
Right, and they claim they want a AAA game every quarter. So will they get there?
But that's exactly the issue, though. They are in a boardroom saying we need a AAA game every year, whereas Sony's like, "Hey, Naughty Dog, what's the time on that? Don't know. Me either. Cool, whatever.
We'll figure it out."
Like, it's like Gorilla, you good to go? Like, all right, don't worry about it. Like, it doesn't really matter for them. Like, it's when you're a PlayStation gamer, you're and they're actually again screwing the pooch for me as well in this aspect. You buy a PlayStation to play all these cool little AA, single A titles until God of War comes out, until Horizon comes out, until Naughty Dog releases their thing. They're doing pretty terribly when it comes to the games in between the big games. But
yeah, for sure.
But when those big games come out, it is truly like an Avengers level movie coming out. It's like, oh crap! Like these games.
Like that's My PS5 stays off until that happens. Like I don't like. I literally have turned my PS5 on this year to play Horizon and God of War. That is it. Like,
I mean, there's really no other reason, and that's, to me, that's hurting the Sony brand, but the Sony brand itself is not hurting. So this is a very interesting situation we have, because Microsoft is not complaining. In fact, they're happy about the way their system is selling and the way the product Game Pass is selling. Sony also is very, very happy with how their system is selling in attachment rates on certain games. So, in all honesty, I feel like one of these companies should be devastated by the other, but it seems like gamers are just like, no, we're good. Like we're going to buy all the way into each one of these consoles.
Yeah, I mean, as gamers, we're eating good. Like, and that's my biggest like issue, and it's not even with Game Pass right now. Is like I'm getting really tired of the almost like elitism that's forming, because you have Microsoft who's not really releasing AAA stuff right now, but you have Game Pass, and like we played some awesome games this year, like some really fun games, but they're not AAA. And it's like, there's always been that sort of like, what do you want to call it? Line, whatever, of, well, there's AAA games, there's indie games, and like, they're not really the same thing. And it's just, I kind of hate that mentality. And I think I understand it to an extent. If you go to a movie theater and you're expecting Avatar, Way of Water, but instead you go see The Whale, like, I get it. Like you're going to the movie for a certain reason. If you're going to see Transformers, chances are you're not going to see a cinematic drama. There's different levels, different, things of entertainment, different budgets, etc. But this notion that Microsoft is failing because they don't have AAA games. Yeah, here I am sitting here eating good with all these smaller games. Like, yes, if you want to have that argument of AAA games aren't there, then you shouldn't be on Xbox right now.
No, exactly. I mean, I agree.
Right, but we have to stop that these indie games aren't real games. Like, it really drives me up a wall.
No, like indie games is absolutely fantastic when they are absolutely fantastic. And my thing is, to be completely honest, with Game Pass, as happy I am with Game Pass, I look at it like, granted, I did not pay for my Series X, but I don't even need. If I were to buy a console right now, knowing what I know now, I'm buying a Series S because I don't need the X. Like, at this point, like I'm looking at my ex like this, I'm not using half of your power ever.
Right.
I'm not using half of your features ever. Like it's so for me personally pointless of a system. And Game Pass does not make up for that, to me anyway. Like if you have with Game Pass, I can just downgrade and be fine. I could play on my worst computer and be fine. Like it doesn't. It's so unnecessary of a system, and that where I think that's might be why the Series S is so strong, probably because you don't need an X.
Yeah, well, that's to me is just the proof is just that, like, look, man, consumers they're very complicated, but at the same time, they don't always need the best and the biggest, but they're also very easy to market to. Like that's where Sony has knocked it out of the park. Like the amount of people that played God of War that have finished it is pretty high, but that's also there's still like 7 million people that haven't finished it. So it's just like it's this war of advertising, really, of trying to, it's always been like the gaming market is not growing. It's kind of, you've got 150 million people that are sort of bouncing around between these three consoles, which is exactly why streaming exists, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is just that we're, like you said, the Series S is proof that most people don't really care what the game looks like. Like they care when it's on, but they don't care that it's 4K. They don't care that it's 120 frames. They just want it to work, kind of thing. And I think that's where we're getting to in that Vampire Survivors is weirdly, even on like not just me, but my friends list. There's more people that have played Vampire Survivors on my friends list than Call of Duty. Like
more than Halo, more than Call of Duty, more than like a lot of bigger titles.
Does that mean that Vampire Survivors is that 25 million people are playing Vampire Survivors? No. But what it shows me is that trends are hard to identify, and they don't need the latest and greatest hardware to do it. And that's what Microsoft is looking at too. And I understand that people hate the S, and I get it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that model either, of like sort of stagnating your own creativity in terms of hardware. in a way, like it's very complicated, but I think the Series S proves that. See, but you could also say it proves that the Xbox gamer they're just not as serious as the PlayStation gamer. But
they really, I don't know if serious is the right word, but they just never are. They never were. They
right.
They never were that complex of a gamer when you are, for lack of a better word, compared to a Nintendo
they were for
or
about,
a PlayStation fan.
Yeah, they were for about 4 years, but then they connected it, and and I think they lost all that momentum. But yeah, so let's kind of, we'll start wrapping this up. So like looking ahead to the future, like what do we think about, like the only things that we know that are coming out are Redfall, Starfield, Forza, and Hellblade 2. We don't have dates on any of these things, except Forza is supposed to be spring and supposedly Redfall will be spring. How are we feeling about that being sort of Microsoft's lineup next year? Are we feeling good? Are we feeling bad? How are we feeling about the stuff that we haven't seen yet, of like, where's Fable? Where's, we haven't seen any more Perfect Dark. We have no idea what the Coalition's doing. All these studios that they purchased, what's Double Fine doing? What's Compulsion doing? How do we feel about them going into next year?
I mean, with that lineup, I honestly, I'm a bit bored. Arcane Studios, they made Dishonored, right?
Correct, and Deathloop.
Deathloop, yeah, I don't care. I just don't. We neither one of us just played Deathloop. Dishonored 2 was fine. I love that first Dishonored, but I just don't care. They have. That's not to say they make bad games. They have a style. They have a very particular style, and it's a style I just don't like personally. But they make good games. I guess not my games.
Deathloop is a weird one because I like Deathloop, but and the weird thing is about their style is like I like the way their games look. I just don't like the way that they display information. I don't like the way that they feel.
Yeah, they
those
feel
games
weirdly floaty, but not like I don't.
Right.
I don't like it.
something about it's always weird to me. But no, you're definitely right. But Redfall's a weird one. Like, it looks like a game that I should enjoy, but every time I see it, I'm just like, I don't know, maybe kind of thing. Like, I really hope that game comes out and it totally, you know, I won't say proves me wrong, but you know, just like I'm like I hope I'm into it kind of thing.
I think it's gonna pull another
but
death loop, honestly. Whereas like it's gonna get the word of mouth, the some of the critical acclaim, but I think the majority of the games are gonna be like, it's fine.
Right.
What,
I hope, yeah.
What was the other one?
We'll
Starfall?
Yeah, Starfield. Bethesda Game Studios.
Oh, that game's gonna suck. All right. we know it's gonna suck.
I don't know if I'm with you on that one. Like,
oh, you're out of control. That game's gonna blow. I'll watch that video. It sucks. The gameplay sucks. It's the same. Like they built that game in a booth. I'm sorry, in a bubble rather. And this Starfield is going to be that game where people really notice how game development really works. How you have your head in the sand for so many years, and then by the time that game comes out, the industry has passed you in so many ways. Like this is gonna look good sometimes, feel dated most of the time. They don't make good games anymore. We know it. Like we've been here with Fallout 4. Like we know they don't.
I'm not entirely there. My gut is telling me that it's going to be big, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be Skyrim level. Like it's just not. I don't think that studio is ever going to hit a home run like they did with Skyrim again.
Or New Vegas. Well, they didn't make New Vegas. That's why it was so good.
Yeah. And where I'm with you is that their games definitely, speaking of style, those games have a style. And a lot of times that style is old. Like, and that's it. They feel a certain way. And that's where those games that's why I have never fallen in love with any of their games. Like I fell in love with Oblivion because Oblivion was just like this marvel of a piece of software when the 360 came out, and there just wasn't anything like it. But that game got very quickly forgotten about for many people. Like it was a really cool game. Everyone put 150 hours into it.
I don't know if I agree to that. Like Oblivion I think is still up there for a lot of people.
I'm saying from the mainstream point, like it did not hold on the way Skyrim did. Like Skyrim held on for a decade plus.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. Like, but like that game is going to hit. That game's going to hit hard. But the question is that are the fallbacks of it going to hold it down? Like, I don't think it's going to be a Fallout 4 situation where even people that were fans of that game were just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like something feels off about this. Like they took too many swings and too many of them missed. And this game seems to be far more close to the chest. But at the same time, like, the reason people fall in love with those games are the RPG, like falling into things are the reason that people love those games. It's not that the games look great. It's not that the games, play well. It's that they get lost in them. And I think that's really
going to blow. It's just No Man's Sky on realistic settings.
I just don't see it.
So like how, like, do you see that gunplay? It looks like it's from 2014.
I'm not disagreeing with that. However, people don't care. That's not why people like those games.
I think people do care. Fallout 4.
Skyrim doesn't play good. Like Skyrim is not fun to actually play.
But this isn't Skyrim. This is Fallout 4, Fallout 5.
But people are still playing Skyrim. Like, and people are still playing Fallout 76.
Okay,
like,
so people are still playing Skyrim. Yes, Fallout 76. No one's playing that game.
I wish that was the case, but people are playing.
That is not a great selling. There's no way the numbers are high. It's good enough for Bethesda to keep it alive.
No, they have their own subscription service in that game. Like
that can't be possible.
It's a real thing. It is a very real thing. And it's, again, I'm with you in that I'm like, huh? Like, why? Like we played that game. And it's one of those things where it's just, it makes me want to download it again. I'm just like, did I miss something? Like, are we stupid? Like what are we missing about it? And it's like, no, I just don't like this game. But like people that like those games they're into them. And I don't know. Like my gut is telling me, like I said, Starfield's going to be big. It's going to be huge. Is it going to stay around like Skyrim did? I really don't think so. I think the Elder Scrolls fantasy setting is a huge factor into that. I don't think the sci-fi setting is going to light up the way, it's not Mass Effect. I don't think it's going to be on that level. But I think people are gonna like it and fall in love with it. Kind of thing.
No, I did a quick Google search, and I'm finding that Fallout 76 was not actually a long-term profitable move by Bethesda. It has its fans. It doesn't have enough fans to. It does not have more fans than Fallout 4 has detractors. It just does. I just don't buy it. Especially looking at these videos, the writings on the wall, like they have not upgraded their engine nearly as much as they needed to. There's nothing to the worst thing going for Starfield is the fact that we've played No Man's Sky. We know what this is going to be. Like you saw the crafting, you saw the garbage resource collecting. Like we've played this game before. It's just on realistic settings, and it's not going to be Skyrim. It's just not. And we don't. And a lot of people won't care, but the majority of us are going to bounce off that game fairly quickly.
Guess time will tell. I'll have to agree to disagree on that one. You're not a Forza person, but I like me some Forza.
You're an Xbox guy. Just pew pew and vroom. That's how you guys like to play.
Worst part is I bought that Hot Wheels DLC for Horizon 5, which if you've never seen that, it's legitimately fun. Like it's one of the best things that I've ever played, like from a racing standpoint. Still haven't played the second one though. Maybe I should do that now. So Forza Motorsport, the reboot, looks really good. I think that game's gonna be really strong, especially with the crowd that's been sort of waiting for that. We haven't had a Forza mainline in 6 years now. So that's going to be good. So, and then Hellblade's the other one. Like Hellblade has to come out next year. I feel like it's been too long. How are we feeling about Hellblade?
Hellblade
2.
Hellblade 2. Like, man, that's another so whatter.
See, I'm not with you on that one. I think that one has a lot of potential.
It has potential, but until it comes out, it's a so whatter for me. Like Hellblade, the first Hellblade wasn't amazing.
The first one has a lot of good ideas that I don't think fully work out, but that's why, like, I feel like we could get a Gears 2 situation with that one. Of they've learned everything from the first game. They're going to fix the combat was the weakest part of that game, and they're going to fix that, or more like a Ori to Ori and the Will of the Wisp situation. I think that game has a lot of potential, and part of that really is because they're going to have way more resources now, being a Microsoft owned studio. I think that game has potential to be huge for them. Critically, as well as putting their eyes on such a different product. But yeah,
I'm not trying to discredit the potential of any of these games. Every game has potential, like including Hellblade 2. But I just personally, the first one wasn't that great. This it looks good. It looks.
Oh yeah,
good.
for sure. I mean, all their games look good. So.
Exactly. So all their games look good, but I'm just like I just don't care. Like. I don't. It doesn't have. I don't know, man. Like I don't have the words to describe it. It's Hellblade. Like, you play when it comes. It's the perfect Game Pass game. It truly is. Play when it comes out. It's probably gonna be just fine. It's gonna look really good. It'll be just fine. I didn't see anything in the videos that showed anything super amazing. Especially in terms of gameplay. The one of the gameplay reveal videos I saw is basically running on rails, because it didn't look like actual gameplay. It was the video where she's throwing the fire spear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that doesn't. I'm not seeing any. That's the gameplay reveal. There's no gameplay in that.
My gut is saying, like, I mean, it's. What's the word I want to use?
It's like a vertical slice of you not playing anything. Like, it's
right, but at the same time, like that's just the marketing engine of it.
Right.
If you watch some of the Last of Us 2 videos, like, you would not know that's like a survival horror game at times, kind of thing. Granted, that's just not how they sell it, kind of thing. But I mean, that's a fair point. At the same time, but we have the knowledge of what that game is. It's not a situation where it's a new IP and we're struggling to figure out what it is. You could watch The Last of Us 2 stuff and know that there's going to be more to it than just these sort of cinematic pieces. in between gameplay kind of thing. But no, I mean that's a fair point, like I said. But I
I'll watch the video. I don't know what I'm playing. It looks good. I just don't care. Which is Microsoft kind of first party games in a nutshell. Like you guys look good. I just what am I doing? Like
you just
it's hard to put into words because I'm not saying the game is bad. It's a matter of I think it'll be just fine. However, they don't showcase the right things almost ever. Like, don't give me a gameplay reveal just for me to watch 9 minutes of me on rails. You know,
fair enough, yeah.
Like, because I just don't know what I'm looking for. So when you ask me how do you feel about Hellblade 2, like I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. Whereas, I have no example. I actually like The Last of Us. Will have story trailer and a gameplay trailer. The gameplay trailer would be legitimately gameplay. Like, and I just don't know I just don't know what I'm playing, so I can't be excited for it.
Yeah, fair enough. And Microsoft has always had a marketing problem, in my opinion. There was the infamous when Xbox Series X was kind of coming out. They're like third-party gameplay showcase, and there was like no gameplay in it.
Right.
Like it was like they've always had that issue. Like I said, I'm just going based off of the fact that we've played the first Hellblade, so like I expect just that, but better.
When did that come out?
But no, but that 2016. 2015, something like that.
I don't recall it that much.
Yeah. So, and that again, that's fair. Like, I mean, I think it's on Game Pass. It'll tell us. That was originally a Sony exclusive. It was like a timed exclusive. 2018. That might have been the PC version though. So it's probably 2017. So yeah, like that's a game that I think could be big for them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get you. It definitely has the potential there. I just don't. I'm personally just not excited for it. It's not gonna be. Again, I think next year the biggest game for me on Game Pass is going to be more Vampire Survivors, like more, just random out there third party games. It's probably going to be Hades. Is Hades 2 coming out next year?
Probably it's probably not coming out 1.0 next year. Yeah. I'm guessing 2024 will be 1.0, and that's when like I will wait for Hades to be 1.0 before I touch it because I want that game to be the best it can be when it comes out, kind of thing. Like those games are magical for me because they are play tested to hell, and that flow works. I don't want any disruption to that flow. So, but yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Like I said, it's been a really weird year for Microsoft. Like, not a lot of first party output, but at the same time, it's just like you want to be excited about it, right? Because it's like they have all this potential. They own Bethesda. They own id. They own the shooter studios. Like, it's just like, what are you guys doing over there? And they're trying to buy Activision. I don't think we really need to talk about the Activision deal because it's not going to be done anytime soon. The FTC suing Microsoft over it, that's going to put a delay on that for at least a year. Like, that's now going to be end of 2023. If you're lucky, probably 2024 before anything's going to happen with it. So everybody else has talked about it. And if we want to just go quickly, do we think the deal's still going to happen? I'm going to go with yes.
Yes, it's going to happen. They just need to pay the right people. You know how that goes. It's business.
Yeah, I guess this does feel like a completely political move. And what I'll say is, like, I think this whole, whatever you want to call it, measuring stick of the industry of it, this deal makes everyone look petty and stupid. Like, the arguments that Sony's coming up with are extremely dumb and console war-ish, and just like, it's these two corporations that have more money than they need complaining about each other. And it's just dumb. It's just so dumb to me, but I digress, I guess. Like, I'm not a fan of consolidation though either. So like, do I want the deal to go through? No, I don't. Like, I think it's bad for the industry. However, the arguments against it are other than me being like, I don't want it to happen. But Sony being like, oh, hey, I don't like the way Microsoft does business while also practicing the exact same business practices. are stupid. Like,
Yeah,
I
mean,
can't find
yeah.
a good argument other than I don't like it. And that's really all I see. So
Yeah, Sony has the same consolidation in a way. It's just unspoken. It's not contractually based. I mean, if they
when
have
Sony entered the market with the PlayStation, people forget they tried to buy their way in. They tried to do the exact same thing that Microsoft is doing now. It's just people just don't remember that because the industry wasn't as big either. Also,
Right.
remember their original console idea was a collaboration with Nintendo that fell
yeah.
apart. Like, so like this notion that Sony is like the good guy here is just like eye rolling to me. But
No, I mean they have all of Asia on lock. Like there's not a single like Asian developer or that puts out a game that's not on PS3 or PS4 at this point. Like they have that whole market on lock, and then on top of that, the EU loves them some PlayStation. I mean, PlayStation is doing just fine with their own sort of quasi consolidation, whereas Microsoft is just being a little more brutish about it. And I agree. I don't like the acquisition either. It's going to be bad for the industry, but at the same time, I don't play Activision games anyway. I was thinking the other day, the last Activision game that I really bought and liked, and then I was also thinking like in terms of Bethesda publishing, if it's not Doom, like I don't think I care. Like Wolfenstein was good for a while, then they just ruined that series too. I mean, it doesn't affect me personally because I don't buy the games anyway.
yeah, and it's like I play Call of Duty, but that's because my friends play it. You know, I don't. That's not to say that I don't like Call of Duty. I'm a Call of Duty player. I like those games, but they're comfort food. You know, they're not something that I'm like dying to see kind of thing. Diablo though. Like Blizzard
Diablo, yeah, I forgot, yeah.
Like I'll be all over Diablo 4. So already got it pre-ordered kind of thing. Like I don't care. You know, that game could come out broken and I'm not going to defend it, but I won't care. I'll still play it kind of thing. Like I'm an idiot like that when it comes to Diablo. So that is just a game for me that, yeah. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. You said you had to go. Do you have time or no?
I got, how much time do you need?
I was going to say, because do we want to talk about like the future of what we're going to be doing for this episode? Also, we have our Spotify stats.
All right, let's do that. Go ahead.
All right. So when it comes to the future of this show, we haven't nailed it down yet. We're going to be possibly doing a video. We've talked about it, but we're also going to be expanding content, but it doesn't really, Basher's working on some things. We did have our movie podcast, but this year was just kind of weird in terms of, you might have noticed around the August timeline, things kind of slowed down a little bit. And that was partly due to me expanding my day to day. Like I picked up a lot of things that were going on. And then we also both got sick for like 2 months, like legitimately. I was messed up for like
at different months though, too, like which made it worse.
Yeah. So like that was part of it though, too. But so going into next year, I think we're going to be much easier back on track of getting out at least 3 episodes a month. And, closer to what we normally had. But when it comes to video, I mean, you and I have talked about this, like video's weird to me. Like, do we want to do video?
I don't, again, I think it's a smarter thing to do. And, anyone listening could, reach out to us and let us know. But as older gamers, like I'm 36, I don't see the point of video personally, but that's the old man in me talking. Like everyone does video. And I'm guessing it gives you more hits or stuff. But again, we don't do this for the hits, like it's the whole point of this show is you and I get to play the games we want to play instead of playing the games we have to play. And it's low cost of entry and it's real just simple for us to do.
Right. And that's,
yeah, go ahead.
It's so I think we're being a little bit not facetious, but like I know we say we don't do it for the hits and we don't, but at the same time, like growth is something that
exactly
I think like we want to grow bigger for the simple fact of like we enjoy doing this, and I like and I enjoy hearing other people talk about it, and we get comments and write-ins every now and then, but like I kind of wish we would get more just because I'm curious about how other people feel. And so that's where the expansion comes into. The video aspect is strictly for like SEO. Like that just doesn't, the podcast website doesn't work anymore. People are going to YouTube, they're going to Spotify, and that's how they're finding their podcast. So like that's how you expand. And we'll go over our numbers here in a bit. And we expanded quite a bit this year, more than I would have anticipated. But we're still, we're not averaging thousands of hits an episode. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not mad at that. But I think it would be cool to expand into that. But again, like I think we're just like, we have to decide if we're just going to do it. But if anyone, like you said, wants to write in and let us know, like, if you do listen to video podcasts, would you listen to ours? Like, what do you like about them? And I've done some research and I can't, it's weird to me. It doesn't compute, but that's how people are finding podcasts now, our videos.
And I wouldn't do it the way we're doing it now. I wouldn't just do this podcast just with video. It would be something different. It would be a different form of video content.
So, and see, that's the question is are we thinking about it too much though too? Like, maybe we just do need to add, well, so maybe we just need to add our faces to it and put some gameplay in the background and call it a day. Like,
see that is something I don't want to do.
To me, that seems too easy, but at the same time, maybe that's all we really need to do.
Right.
Like maybe it's just that ability to see somebody and sort of see that emotion. And maybe that's what people are identifying with. Again, write in, let us know. I'd like to know what people think about it, but yeah. So, but that's really like all, I mean, I'm pretty content with the format of the show. So like, I don't want to make any promises or anything going into next year of like, we're going to do this year. Cause I don't know. I'm pretty happy with where it is and I'm cool with it the way it is, other than possibly the video aspect of it. So,
yeah, same here. Any change needs to be organic to me.
Right. And so, like I said, we had growth this year. So like, to me, that tells me that we're doing something right. Granted, the growth is not to the extent that, when you compare it year over year, it's not as much as you would want, from a business standpoint, kind of thing. So we'll go into the stats really quick just to let everyone know how it's going and give you a quick thanks. Top 5 countries this year were United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, which is identical to last year. So kind of makes sense. Australia, if you're listening in Australia, though, I'm curious, mate. Is that racist? That I just
extremely.
Okay, sorry.
Well, not if you do it. You look
okay.
Like them.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you got me there. Let's go into our wrap up. This is fun. So compared to last year to this year, we had 30% more shares, which is awesome. Because that's kind of one of the easiest ways to grow organically. But what I found interesting is that most people are sharing a direct link. Like, they're not sharing like our Spotify page. They're sharing like a direct link to an episode, which to me tells me there's some episodes that people like more than others. And
or
I'm
hate
wondering,
more, which
that's very true. We really upset some people with still with what the heck's the name of that game? Remnant from the Ashes.
Because the game blows.
Like Remnant 2 got announced, and again, I really like that game. The problem with that game on console was that it was busted. Like that was the biggest issue with that game. And so I think a lot of people missed that aspect of it, or they listened to the episode and were just like, look at these idiots that don't like the game. And it was just like,
I don't like
no,
the
man,
game. I stand by that.
Yeah. I mean, we fought on that one a little bit. And I was like, again, I like that game a lot. It was just busted. Like, so, but no, like we still get every once in a while, we get a review on iTunes or something that's like a 1 star. That's just like, you guys know what you're talking about because Remnant from the Ashes is amazing. I'm just like, you clearly didn't listen to the episode, sir. Like you just, yeah. So I found that interesting. But yeah, I wonder what, So supposedly our listeners are super fans. And so most people that listen to our show are actually like full-time subscribers. It looks like 86% of our listeners listen to almost every episode, that's pretty cool. Like, I think that shows that the people that do resonate with us are sticking with us. So, and that's why I'm always nervous to change anything, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. If anything, adding more would not be the issue. Just anything less would definitely be an issue.
Right. I completely agree with that. So, all right, let's go to the next page here because they got to do it in all fancy letters and all that fun stuff. You can't just tell me the ratings. You've got to show me everything. So
Let's wrap.
All right.
I'm sorry. Before you continue, let's wrap it up a bit quicker, apparently, because she's on her way.
Okay. Of course, you said that, and I clicked the button, and I lost everything. lost it all. So, all right, here's the hard stats. We are up 125% on listeners, up 111% on hours listened, and 90% up on followers. So followers, I would have liked to see a little bit more. Said that was that number that
up is up is up. You can't complain.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's log in here. So we let's see. In terms of our average rating on iTunes, went from 4.5 stars to 4.5 stars. So that's good there. We had 10 more ratings this year, and let's see. We come back. We have 706 people on Spotify that we are in their top 10 every week. 516 on Spotify that we are their top 5 every week. And 174 of you, we are your number 1 podcast.
You guys are the weirdos. You're the real weirdos here.
Yeah. All right. Last piece of wrap up here. Let's go. Come on, Spotify.
Are you on a flip phone? Like what?
No, it's when you do that stupid Spotify wrap up thing. What's the word? It does like the little graphics in the background, so you got to wait for it to play out. So, all right. So this year we had 31 episodes, 1,200 minutes of content, was distributed in 69 countries, and we had an overall percentage of 125% growth for the year. So there you go. 125%. Can't be mad at that. I would have liked to see 126%, but that's because I always just want a little bit extra. So, but all right. Anything else? Yeah. So we had a review from Lil Sea Dog. Said y'all are whack. You pass on Remnant. We don't see eye to eye. Peace out.
People really love this Remnant business.
It's
not
really
good.
Some people.
It's fine.
But our most latest review, really liked the predictions of the future of Game Pass and Microsoft. Also, it took me back to breaking down Spyro for PlayStation and having a dedicated conversation of buyouts and true questions about the gaming side of things. Fun and intriguing. Looking forward to more. So you, sir, liked it, but you listened to the one episode that is not like the rest of them. So maybe we need more of those. So
also, Spyro's a good game. Play Spyro, you Remnant fools.
Right. So, all right, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you next year. Like I said, we don't really have a game on the docket yet that's going to go first, but we're already playing stuff. I can tell you that we'll be playing High on Life. You are playing, what's the name of that game?
Echoed Memories.
Echoed Memories?
Chained
Sure.
Echoes. That's the name of that game.
Chained, yeah, that game. That you won't get me to play that. You've tried. Ain't going to happen. High on Life, but I'm also going to play Basher's favorite game ever, The Walking Dead final season, because I'm just curious. Came out a while ago. I am that person that has played all of those, and just never got I usually got them on a steep sale, but then when the whole thing happened with, what's it called? That studio, not People Can Fly. What's the name of that studio?
No clue.
Skybound. Telltale's
yeah, Telltale.
Telltale.
Yeah.
I just kind of fell off of it. So I'll be playing that to check that out. But yeah, just more Vampire Survivors. We'll do another episode. We'll do another episode on Vampire Survivors just for you. So, all right, that's going to do it for this episode. And that's going to do it for 2022 for Game Pass or Pass. We'll see you next year with more games, possibly videos, all that fun stuff.
Good day, sirs.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
I'm Margot Robbie, and I play Barbie.
And I'm Ryan Gosling, and I play Ken.
Max is now the exclusive streaming home of Barbie.
So cool.
And the Max with Ads plan is included with your Cricket $60 unlimited plan at no additional cost. Log in with your Cricket username and password to experience Max on all your favorite devices.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever.
Don't miss Barbie, now streaming on Max. Phone plan streams in standard definition. Programming subject to change. These terms and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization.
Border Patrol agents enjoy great pay, outstanding federal benefits, and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives.
If you are looking for a way to serve something greater than yourself, consider the United States Border Patrol. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP.
That's cbp.gov/careers/USBP.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.